Here we go. We are on a roll with these sub 250 gram O3 whoops. I feel like every week we're getting a new one. Today we're taking a look at GepRC's Darkstar 20. I've been testing out tons of these little small 2-inch O3 whoops, and honestly, this one is one of my favorites. Alright, so we've got the Darkstar 20 today. This is a very small 2S whoop that's capable of filming in 4K since we have the O3 Air unit on board. And for its size, it's actually pretty quick too. At the end of this video, you're going to see some flight footage of me chasing some go-karts around with this, and you'll see that this thing is actually pretty fast for a 2S whoop. So I have the ELRS version right here. We have the ELRS antenna coming off the side, and I also have the O3 Air unit on board. You can get this with ELRS, Crossfire, or they also have a plug-and-play option. VTX-wise, you can get the O3 version that I have here. They also have a WASP version, which comes with the RunCam WASP, and then they have a plug-and-play option that isn't going to come with any VTX, and you just install your own. The frame on this one is made entirely of plastic, and I think this is the first one that I've seen that actually doesn't have any carbon fiber on it, and it also looks like there's no camera dampening on board. I'm really curious how that's going to work out because I feel like most of the little O3 whoops that I've tried out has some sort of camera dampening, whether it's on the camera itself or it's just kind of like somewhere on the body. I feel like every O3 drone lately that I've been testing has some sort of camera dampening. This is the first one that doesn't, so I'm really curious how this is going to come out. Above the camera we have this little thing. I don't know what this does, but it moves. You loosen up this top screw, it moves in front of the camera, or back here. I think it's probably just supposed to protect the camera, but it's made of plastic. On the back of the drone we've got our VTX antennas right here, and then there's a capacitor right in the middle. We've got an XT30 pigtail running off the back, and that's for our 2S LiPo. Now the drone isn't going to come with any 2S LiPos. I'm going to be using a 450, but I would recommend getting something like a 550. I feel like this 450, it fits and you can use it. It just slides out pretty easy, so I would say this cutout is probably meant for a 550, maybe even a 650. You could use a 450. I'm going to be using a 450 in the flight footage you guys see, but it does slide out pretty easily. Above the battery, they've put a Taker F411 flight controller. This is an all-in-one board with the ESC flight controller, and we also have our ELRS receiver built right in. That's this little antenna off to the side. For motors, we've got GepRC 1102 10,000 kV motors, and the props are HQ prop 51mm 4-blade props. Let's take a look at the weight real quick. When you have this drone without a battery, you're looking at 86 grams, and then when you add a 450 like this, that brings it up to 114 grams. So yeah, that's kind of the Darkstar 20 in a nutshell. I feel like this is one of the first O3 whoops that I've gotten that doesn't have any camera dampening, and I'm really surprised by that. I'm very curious if we're going to see any jello in the image. On GepRC's site, it says in-depth cooperation with HQ Prop to fully optimize the dynamic balance of the props to reduce jelly. So we'll see how that works out. It's time for some flight footage. We film pretty regularly for Supercharged, and if you don't know what Supercharged is, it's a very big indoor go-kart track. They have a bunch of different locations, but we film a lot of projects for them, and we recently went down to their Connecticut facility, and when it came time to chase some go-karts, I had a feeling that this drone would be pretty good for it. So here's some flight footage, flying this thing around with a 450 2S LiPo on board, chasing some go-karts. all in all, very solid little drone. Like I said, I've been testing out a handful of these little 2S03 capable whoops. I feel like we're seeing a new one every week, and in all honesty, this is one of my favorites. I love the tune on it. It's nice and smooth. It's got nice speed for filming FPV fly-throughs. We've got the O3 air unit on board. The thing's light. I was seeing about 3-minute, 4-minute flight times with a 450. So if you up this to something like a 550, you probably see about 5 minutes. But overall, it's just a really good drone, and I am surprised to say that I didn't see any jello in the image. Of the 2S03 whoops that I've tested, this one to me stands out as the most cinematic option available. There's no fancy LEDs on it because it really doesn't need it. It surprisingly doesn't have any camera jello, like I said, and it's just overall a pretty fun, very well-tuned little 2S03 capable whoop. When I review these types of drones, I do my testing and I film my review, and usually I play with the drone for a little while longer, and then most of the time I'll take the O3 VTX off, the receiver, sometimes even the motors or the flight controller, and I'll repurpose it into another drone build for New England Drone Tours. This is one of the few that's going to stay exactly like this, and this is going to be in our fleet and just one that we have on hand, and this is just going to stay exactly how it is, and it's going to be around for a while. Very happy with this thing. That's going to do it for this video, guys. If you enjoyed it, make sure you subscribe to the channel for more FPV content. Leave this video a like, and if you have any questions about the GEP RC Darkstar 20, leave a comment down below.